Evening members, welcome again to Mike's TV again. Thank you so much for your support, really appreciate it. Back in the zone right here, as you can see by the trees. Continuing our subject on South Africa and apartheid, the times where I grew up in, the place where I grew up in. Starting off with yesterday where I stopped by regarding, us growing up in the country and remembering the things that we went through. Now, let me talk to you about apartheid again, very importantly, is something that we grew up into. As I said, we didn't know any better what was apartheid. And we lived fine with it. We had no problem. As I said, other countries were putting pressure on South Africa, imposing sanctions and all that. And our government was very strong. At the time of the apartheid, in the prime time of the apartheid, funny enough, the dollar and the South African rand were equal, 1-to-1, okay? South Africa had minerals. They were producing in the time of apartheid. Copper, gold, coal, silver, rich agricultural soil for farming. And the Dutch people, or the European, or shall I say the white people, had the expertise in this. So again, we didn't know any better. We lived life. South Africa was doing pretty fine in the midst of the apartheid, although they were the class system. Now, I'm not saying everything was good in South Africa with apartheid. No. There were bad things too, okay? Like one of the main bad things is they made sure that the blacks were kept oppressed. Okay, no education. Now, I remember we went to school, we were given textbooks, and we were given a certain amount of writing books as well. So we were given the textbooks, we only had to buy stationery. Now, the white kids were given it all. And then the black kids in their schools, they were not given no stationery, no textbooks. They were just provided the shell and the teacher. The shell meaning the building, the facility, and the teachers, and the syllabus. But the poor kids, I remember the Indians, I'm an Indian. The Indians used to have shops. We were the traders of the country, still now. And the Indian shops used to sell all these goods, textbooks, exercise books. When I talk about exercise books, we call them exercise books. They're known as scrapbooks to write on. Okay, that time nothing was done on computer. I'm talking about many, many moons ago. Also stationery like rulers, rubbers, pencils, sharpeners, pens. They had to buy everything. And that was the unfortunate part because the parents, there was a three-class system where everyone earned according to the color of your skin, basically the race, not color of your skin, but the race. Why I say not color of your skin? Because you could be an albino black person, you fall under the category of black. So again, that was the bad part. Now the bad part of also South Africa apartheid that we experienced was that when we finished high school, and if anyone who achieved a good pass in high school, at the midst of apartheid, when I was very young or maybe not even born, a lot of people wanted to study to become a doctor, to become some kind of profession engineer, things like that. Now, I'm talking for the Indians, not for the whites. The whites could study their universities in South Africa and everything like that. The Indians, they had universities for us, but selective courses, Bachelor of Arts degree, becoming a school teacher. But if you want to become a doctor, you wanted to become a lawyer, it wasn't for you. So they had to go out of the country and study for these things. And you'll notice a lot of South African doctors that are old right now, they must be in their late 70s or 80 years of age, 80 plus, they all studied out of the country, went to places like India, Dublin, London. Those are the kind of, if their parents could afford it at that time. So that was the bad parts of the apartheid system, where everyone was not treated equal. As I said, the black man, okay, So number one, they were not given books. They were not even, the black people were not allowed to open a bank account. They hid money under their home floors, under the mattress. Okay, they never had bank accounts. Indians had bank accounts. We were the traders, Indians and coloreds. Okay, the white people, we're not going to talk about them too much because they had all the things that they could do. They had, they could do anything they wanted. Okay, not that they could do anything they wanted without, out of the law. I mean, they couldn't just kill anyone and get away with it, stuff like that. But they did whatever that they could do. Could go to the best of the schools, stuff like that. So that was part of South Africa's apartheid that we experienced. The other thing I experienced personally is post offices, government facilities, different entrances, walls in the center. You see different color heads. Okay, you go for a road trip. You stop at a truck stop or a gas station on the roadside. You're not allowed to go inside to sit and eat. They'll serve you through the window at the back. I experienced all that firsthand. But again, as I said, we never questioned it. We were born in it. We were used to it. It was part of life. We lived with it. So again, remember, these are the things that if you're never exposed to it, you will question it. But again, you must understand, in today's times, and I explained this yesterday as well, that this thing of discrimination will never go away. You have to get used to living with this shit. This is the bottom line. People have to get used to it. It is what it is. It's human nature. It's in the human mind. It's born in you. Everyone is going to discriminate every fucking day. Okay? So please remember, like yesterday I was watching TV, one of these pop star singers is a fat black lady, and she's so tired of people discriminating her. Yes, they're going to discriminate you. You're fat. Okay, you're not attractive. This is the fact of it all. You know what I mean? I'm not attractive. I got no fucking teeth. I'm gonna accept someone making a fool of me. Yes. I'm not attractive. No. Okay? And one thing also you must remember, that being attractive, looking good, is just for a time. It's a temporary shit. So this is what you must look at and look away from fucking discrimination. Forget about discrimination. If everyone's going to think about discrimination, your mind is going to be too fucking small. I'll tell you right now. Okay? So, cut the bullshit. Forget about discrimination. Move on with your fucking life, and that's it. Anything you do is discrimination. Either fucking racial discrimination, either financial discrimination, either age discrimination. There's going to be discrimination on any three parts, no matter what. Okay, I know I'm diverting a little bit from the South African topic, but people got to get used to it. Me, myself, I got used to this shit. People look at me and they say, oh, there's an ugly motherfucker. Yes, I am an ugly motherfucker. Okay? That's the truth. I shouldn't get offended. I got to learn to live with it. How with this shit? So yesterday on the TV, as I said, I was watching Channel 7. I had one lady, she's a singer or a rapper or whatever. She's black, she's fat, she's not attractive. To me, she's not, as I said, beauty is in the eye of the beholder. Not attractive. She had some discrimination online. Okay, people remarked the discrimination. Fucking eat it up. She got so upset and she just started putting a 15-minute video wailing on that. I don't know what's her name anyway. I wasn't even interested in that petty shit. So South Africa, coming back to South Africa again, this is what it is. So we experienced all that. But I'll tell you one thing. With the government, the white government, nobody was hungry. The white, the black, and the colored, the white, black, colored, and Indian, nobody was hungry. Everyone had food. Everyone had a job. Okay? Yes, you earned less than each race, definitely, but you never starved. Okay? Now these new youths that are reacting to apartheid, they were not even living in apartheid, but they went and smashed the country up. This is the thing we teach people, or we teach the new lot, or the ones that the new generation, we teach them about history, but we teach them the bad about history. We teach them about we implant, or not we, I wouldn't say me, but a lot of people, or today's, the next generation, the last generation, implants what the white man did to their forefathers, grandfathers, and slaves and all that. I'm not saying that you don't educate people about these things. Like, I'm not saying don't educate people about South Africa and the apartheid. I'm educating you about it. But at the same time, don't hate the present generation of whites. Same with America. Don't hate the present generation of whites. No. Learn to live with them. That law is gone. Yes, they may practice it, very few. But you got to accept that shit. That, hey, you're not white. Yeah, you're going to be looked down upon. I accepted it. We accepted it. Hey, I'm not white. I'm the second race. You know what I mean? Like the second race. So we got to accept that shit. So this is what I'm trying to say. Don't teach history, but don't teach hatred in history. This is what I'm trying to say. Don't teach hatred in history, but that's what they teach. Then they say don't discriminate. Over here in America, they have Black History Month. You don't need to have that shit. Yes, you teach them that in the curriculum in school, but when they have it, then they get very aggressive in that exhibits that they have, and they show what bad things the white men do, and that creates more hatred in the new generation. So it's very important to understand. Teach the history, but don't teach hatred. And that's what people are doing, unfortunately. So now I'm educating you on what I went through South Africa, but I don't hate the white man. Hey, that guy, or the ideologies of those people that had the apartheid system that time are not here today. The great-grandchildren may be living today. They didn't do me nothing. Why should I be mad with them? So, as I said, South Africa, okay, so those are my personal experiences, different schools. Now, I must tell you one thing. The Indian community in South Africa, I take my hat out for the Indian community. The Muslims, the Hindus, the Tamils, Telugus, the Christian Indians. Man, they didn't sit back. They created their own fucking developments, their own townships, their own school system, their own university system, their own old age facility system, a whole lot of stuff. They did a lot. So they didn't sit back. Now, unfortunately, we didn't have the means to do it, but we created the means to do it, pooled together money. So there are some blacks that will even tell you that living in the apartheid times compared to South Africa today, that was better, living in the apartheid times. Okay? Now, we as South Africans at that time, also being in the apartheid era, it was very hard for us to travel certain places because countries were putting sanctions against South Africans, and if you had a South African passport, you couldn't go certain places because certain countries because they were not in favor of apartheid. So they didn't want you in the country. So with all that said or done, okay, you know, it's, again, I've experienced it all. But as I said, I take my hat out for the Indian community in South Africa. What they did, okay, they took care of the blacks too. Some of them, I granted, not everybody is good. Not everyone is an angel. Indians employed blacks as domestic workers at cheap rates, okay? The blacks were the domestic workers in the homes. Yes, the minority of Indians, some of them really abused the black domestic worker, I'll tell you right now. But we didn't abuse them. The majority didn't. Helped them, took care of them. There were even Indian shop owners that made black kids lawyers, attorneys. You'll see on the Facebook. You know, people gave, we helped. So with all that said or done, remember, it wasn't bad, neither was good, but we lived with it. Me, personally, I would have prepared to live in apartheid South Africa. Although it was like, hey, you had your own places, you know, you couldn't go after dark into the town because you were non-white. You had to carry an ID book or ID card all the time with you. Anytime they could stop you and find out if you found in the city center after dark. You could go into jail on a Friday and just come back on a Monday, so you spend the weekend in jail. Now, There were downsides. Now let me talk about, I'll leave this for tomorrow. I'll talk about this situation tomorrow. But let me tell you, as I said again, we had a good life in South Africa with the apartheid system. But I'm going to talk about the downsides, about certain things that happen to Indian people, to white people, due to their actions. We'll leave that for tomorrow. Again, please teach the history, but don't teach hatred. Once again, I must thank you for watching Mike's TV. And please subscribe, share, comment, and like. I really appreciate it. Thank you so much. Have a wonderful night. Remember, tomorrow I'm going to talk about the bad situation of what happened to Indians and whites due to the mistakes that they made. We'll talk about that. Leave you with that tomorrow. Thank you so much, and catch you guys later.